तशरीफ रखो बेटे.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, so beta, you are Jawad Asif.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations on having qualified the written part in your first attempt.
Thank you, sir.
I see here that Lahore happens to be your favorite city.
Yes, sir.
May I ask you a couple of questions on Lahore?
Sure, sir.
Okay, can you tell me what is Chuburji? There's a monument
Yes,
called
sir.
Chuburji. Are you aware of that?
Yes, sir.
What is Chuburji? What is its significance? एक आसान सा सवाल आपसे मैं.
Sir, the significance of Chuburji can be segregated into two domains. The first one is its historical significance. It is named after Jaw Burj, four minarets that constitute Chuburji, and it was named after the daughter of Shah Jahan. Right after the death of his wife Mumtaz, Shah Jahan was taken care by his daughter
Jahanara.
Jahanara. And sir, it is also said to be as a door to the garden of Mughals, which is a village named
Not a
as
door. Entrance to the
entrance
Mughal
to the
garden.
Mughal garden.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Bete, can you tell me what is the significance of Kartarpur for the Sikh community?
Sir, Kartarpur holds a very significant place for the Sikh community as because of the Dera Baba Nanak. It is said that the Baba Nanak stayed there for 18 years of his life, and by the owner of and by the major village holder, he was awarded a huge land mass on which he kept on used for agriculture. Later on, he died there, and since he holds a very religious significance for the Sikh community, so that is why it holds a significance for Pakistan as well. And as Pakistan guarantees the minority rights as per the Article 36, so I believe it is significant for both Sikhs and Pakistan.
Are you aware that he is cremated there as well as buried in Kartarpur?
Yes, sir, he is cremated and buried in Kartarpur.
That's a very interesting story which you can follow up on in your own spare time.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's move on. But Biden, the new US president, has hinted that he might go back on Trump's decision to withdraw US troops from Afghanistan in May this year.
Yes, sir.
Trump had said that he will withdraw troops. Biden might go back. There is a perception that if foreign troops are withdrawn from Afghanistan, it will result in chaos and civil war. Now, what, in your opinion, would be in Pakistan's interest? Should foreign troops continue staying in Afghanistan for an extended period, or should they be withdrawn by May this year as envisaged by Trump?
So your questions can be answered in two domains. As regards Pakistan's stake, I believe limited number of foreign troops should be allowed to stay in Afghanistan in order to secure the security position in the region. However, sir, as regards the withdrawal, the abrupt withdrawal of the forces, it would ultimately result into a trust deficit between Taliban and the US forces, because it has already been 14 months, 12 months, and a 14 months plan was given to them, and still none of the personnel of the forces has been withdrawn. So, and this has resulted into a catch-22 situation, because in terms of the Taliban prisoners and the US stance on not releasing them. So I believe this will ultimately deteriorate the situation in internal Afghanistan. For that, we need to consider the internal groups and power groups of Afghanistan, which is majorly based on General Ismail and Mullah Baradar and the others.
All right. I'll ask you just one last question.
Yes, sir.
Who was Alfred Nobel, and what are the Nobel Prizes?
Sir, Alfred Nobel was an innovator, and he invented dynamite. Nobel Prizes are named after his Alfred Nobel. There is an interesting story associated to Alfred Nobel. His brother died, and accidentally the newspaper published the death of Alfred Nobel instead of his brother, and it was
obituary. They published his obituary. Okay.
Yes, sir. And it was named as. Sir, I'm sorry, I cannot recall the exact words, but that was the death of.
The headline in the newspaper next day was "The Merchant of Death
Yes, sir.
is dead."
Yes, sir, exactly. The Merchant of Death is dead. And that actually struck Alfred Nobel that with what words people are going to remember him. So he decided to give out all his wealth to charity, and Nobel Prizes eventually were started from 1901. In this regard, only two personnels from Pakistan have been awarded Nobel Prizes.
Who are those?
Sir, it is Dr. Abdul Salam and Malala Yousafzai. Both of them have shared the Nobel Prizes.
All right, good. Thank you. Over to you.
Jawad, something about the international affairs.
Yes, sir.
Will you educate us on the possibility of Pakistan to recognize Israel?
Sir, as regards possibility, Pakistan can definitely recognize Israel, but there are multiple benefits as well as challenges associated to this. Sir, as regards benefit, Pakistan can play a very significant role in US lobby because because Israel get to play a key role in US lobby. And as regards Kashmir, Pakistan would be able to bring the big power on the table to negotiate Kashmir with India. And sir, as regards the challenges, in my limited knowledge, if we recognize Israel, will be going to make friends across the sea. And keeping in view the conditions between Israel and Iran, by making a friend across the sea, will be making a foe right at our border. So we need to consider the relations between Iran and Israel as well before recognizing Israel. And sir, secondly, as regards the religious community, I believe, sir, the religious community is also not ready to recognize and to accept the fact that Pakistan can take many political, economic, and social benefits from Israel by recognizing it. So currently, I would say that Pakistan is not close or not in a position to recognize Israel. But in the far future, I believe Pakistan can take much benefits from it.
Okay. CPEC is a great trade initiative. How can it help Pakistan to industrialize and boost its economy?
Sir, definitely CPEC is a very significant step in developing Pakistan's economy, as its huge investment of $61 billion can help Pakistan to burgeon every sector of its economy. Sir, as regards how it can help, first of all, the first thing that Pakistan needs to focus upon is its western route. Along with the economic developments, it can also help Pakistan to stabilize itself politically in terms of Balochistan episode and the grievances that the people of Balochistan hold in terms of the economic development of Balochistan. For that, Pakistan needs to mobilize its allied industry with the route. Ultimately, this allied industry will burgeon the services sector, and the people will, when they will get associated with the services sector, they'll get employment. And sir, as regards the unemployment factor, there is a one little ambiguity about CPEC that it is a debt trap. Sir, I would like to also comment on it if you allow me.
Certainly, certainly. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Sir, even if it is, let's suppose for a moment, even if it is a debt trap, it is a sustainable debt trap because the investment will stay in Pakistan, the industry will stay in Pakistan. It will mobilize Pakistan's workforce along with playing a very efficacious role in Pakistan's economy. So the role and how to utilize CPEC ultimately now depends on Pakistan, how to use it for the betterment and the future of Pakistan. So I believe that CPEC can play a very significant and efficacious role in every sector of Pakistan.
Pakistan has given its warm waters to China, although Russia has been struggling for a long time for the warm waters. Is Pakistan going to benefit appropriately out of it?
Sir, it depends on the future policies of Pakistan, but as regards my limited knowledge, Pakistan is, of course, going to benefit from the CPEC. And sir, it is not giving the warm waters, it is about the mutual development project. It is a concept of mutual development because, as said by the Chinese president, Pakistan and China are the friends with the manifest. I'm sorry, sir, I forgot the quote, sir.
Okay. Let's move further. What are the prospects of tourism industry in Pakistan? What are major categories of tourism in Pakistan?
इसमें मैं ऐड कर दूं थोड़ा सा. And how would you, what measures would you suggest to promote international tourism in the country?
That's right.
So combine the two questions.
Sir, I would like to request to you to grant me 2 to 3 minutes to answer this question. Sir, as regards prospects, Pakistan, keeping in view its geography, its culture, its people, its religious significance, holds a very significant place in terms of tourism. And as projected by Pakistan's government, by 2025, tourism will play a key role by contributing up to 1 trillion rupees in Pakistan's economy. Sir, coming towards the categories of the tourism, there are multiple categories that include religious tourism, cultural tourism. Religious tourism includes religious sites, just like Kartarpur and other multiple sites, including Muslim tourism, Buddhism tourism, and cultural tourism, historical tourism that include Mohenjo-daro, Texla sites, and sir, recreational tourism and mountainous tourism. Recently, upon which K2 Winter Summit has been performed.
Alpine tourism, we call
tourism,
it.
yes, sir. Thank you, sir. And sir, I'm sorry, sir, I forgot your question. Can you
What
please
measures would you suggest to promote international tourism?
Yes, sir. Sir, multiple steps can be taken in this regard. First of all, Pakistan can streamline its PIA in this regard. For instance, a luggage benefit can be given to the international tourists. This would be a very short step that would not require any.
Okay, that's
huge
one.
mess.
So go on,
Yes, sir. And
keep
sir,
counting.
And sir, along with that, in summer season, some fair benefits can be given to the tourists. For example, 40% off on the return ticket to Pakistan in June, July, because the mountainous and the KP areas are very much mobilized in terms of the mountainous tourism.
All right, that's
Alpine
true.
tourism, sir, which you said. So, and this answer, of course, the local development, the infrastructure development, better hotels to stay, and better